Howdy, friends and floor heads. It is Thursday night and episode 28 of Forbidden Lands. To quickly bring everybody up to speed and remind you, we are deep underground to the point that there's pressure on our earlobe or on our eardrums. We're in an abandoned mine, what's being called the Stoneloom mines. What initially brought or attracted the four of them to this mine is tales of another elven ruby. Before they reached the mines, they came across a small coven of the Raven Sisters. Learned a lot more about what these rubies are and some of the lore behind it, and really why many people are looking for them. They also learned rumors or legends of Zygofer's wife and one of Zygofer's daughters escaping to the Stoneloom mines, tales of a dwarven party that recently went into the Stoneloom mines but has not been seen since. In the Stoneloom mines, they've encountered little tiny shadow demons. They've encountered some sort of black, viscous, sentient something that seems to be playful. We don't know if it's dangerous or not. We've come across big lizard men, which we vanquished, but they did a little bit of number told Osric. And Osric has seen better days. Where we left the last episode and where we're going to start is after going down a long passageway, incline or decline. They found a side passage. They went into that side passage, and you are now inside of what is obviously some sort of tomb. It's longer than it is wide. And the torch that you're carrying, Vasilla, just barely lights the walls if you're in the center. So it almost fills, but it leaves enough shadows and enough darkness in the corners to just make things not feel settled. And we cut to credits last episode when I mentioned that Aldrich, for the first time in the mines, started to get a taste in his mouth. So let's start there. Osric, we have you leaning against one of the walls, trying to recuperate. We have Sten. Head on a swivel, Sten. Just kind of keeping eyes out. Vasilik's kind of walked between the six sarcophagus, square stone sarcophagus on the left and the right. And Aldrich, I have you very close to Vasilla, if that's okay.
Sure.
Let's talk about the taste. So it grows pretty slowly. In fact, if you think about it for a half second, you realize that it came as soon as you came into the room, but it just wasn't strong enough to recognize. It just slowly built up. And it started in the back of your mouth, kind of where your tongue just starts to emerge from your throat. And it's vile. And it spreads up your tongue through your teeth, and it's now coating the inner lining of your mouth. And it tastes damp, kind of musty. And it's almost a mix of rotten root vegetables with an acrid kind of tinny or copper taste to it. And as it grows, your stomach begins to flip and you start to get a little nauseous.
Well, doesn't seem like there's too much here. Just doesn't seem quite right, though.
How so?
Bad taste.
Like magic taste?
Yes.
I'm gonna start like waving the torch, kind of like
Check all the corners.
Yeah, Vassine, it takes a little bit of running up and down kind of that center aisle between all of these stone tombs, and kind of waving there, and you go to this corner to get rid of what a little darkness is there, and so on and so forth. And like I mentioned, especially for you, Vasilla, looking for any type of writing or runes or any sign of marking what could possibly be in here. You're finding nothing. I do think in your movement, though, you realize that you're kicking up a good bit of dust. So it gives you the impression that nobody's been in here for a pretty long time, and to disturb kind of the settled stone dust that's on top of each one of these.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no reason to trouble the dead, I think.
Yeah.
All right. And Craig, this is a dead end room, right? It's not a pass through room.
Correct. So one of the things that Vasilla you recognize, there doesn't appear to be any other exits other than the entrance that you came in through.
But the hallway outside continues on. This was like a side room, if I recall.
It does. So if you guys are to leave here, you'll come to a T section. To your right is where you came from. That will incline up, and then the decline down will continue to your left.
And you said there's no writing of any kind on any of the sarcophagi or anything like that that would.
Remind me, Craig, I thought there was something last time that said it looked like some of these might have been disturbed. Or am I imagining?
No,
confusing
I
with
think what
something
you're
else?
probably remembering is what appears to be the kind of the pathways that these lizard men were taking that was up by the
Okay.
church.
Yeah.
You saw kind of the back and forth patterns. And when you first reached this decline, you remember at the very top of it was this room that had or cavern is a better description. It had the cart, the mining cart, the tracks, which are on this decline as you're going down. These tracks, these rails continue. But if you also remember, there was a cliff that went down about 30 feet. You really couldn't see down that far. But that appears to be where the tracks were coming up from, that cliff. And then leading to the room that had that putrid pool in it where you met the lizard men.
Yeah.
Right, but like the old track still like went around the edge of the wall, right past like there was like the cliff down, and then
Right.
there was like around here. Yeah.
And you could just see there was traffic back and forth from the room where you encountered these lizard men to that cliff area. So it appears that these things were going back and forth between what is ever at the bottom of this cliff and the room where you found them.
Well, somewhere that doesn't make him make that face would be
Yeah,
a better.
no, I'm in favor of it.
Well, I mean, we come in peace to walk with the dead. Enjoy your rest.
Yep.
And lead him back up the.
Yeah, so you head back down, exiting the way you came in, and the hallway is just long enough that there's a moment that the torch shows no entrance or exit. It's just hall, the way that the torch fills it. It's a fresh torch that Sten just recently gave to you, Vasilla, when you entered that tomb area. You come to that T. To your right is the incline back to where you came from. To your left is the decline, and Aldrich, within 10 feet of leaving that room, that taste dissipates.
Yeah, whatever. Hopefully that is not what we end up needing to investigate most, because that is vile, whatever is in there.
I'd rather not mess with it then.
Are you okay,
Same.
Osric? You look a little pale, buddy. Did you tear your stitches?
No, they're fine. I'm fine. And I think he's been sort of leaning on this this trident as a walking stick as he moves forward.
I mean, we can take a break anytime you need to.
No,
Joe?
let's keep moving. Sooner done and out of here.
Proceed
don't
with
be a
caution at the very
donkey.
least.
Are we headed downhill or uphill?
Well, we came from up, so I think we're going down.
See what new things.
Keep going down.
Yep.
So once again, as I mentioned, it's not like the room that you were in, right? As soon as you get into these passageways, it's that ceiling that feels like it's a helicopter blade, just a little too close to your head. And the light of the torch fills as you take that left and you start again descending down with that metal rail that obviously was used by whatever that card is. You go probably a good maybe 15, 20 yards. Again, getting that, it's almost disconcerting, I think, those moments where all you see is hall ahead of you and hall behind you, right? No doors, no escape, just light. And if someone were to spin you, it'd be hard to know which way you were coming and which way you were going. But luckily you're moving down, and that helps a little bit. And as you continue, you again encounter to the left another passageway that branches off from this decline. And from the torch, you can see probably a good 5-6 yards ahead that it leads to a staircase that goes up far enough that you can't see the top of it.
Okay, stairs going up. All right. Check out the side passage first, you think?
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Stick out your tongue. Are you going to throw up on us?
I feel fine.
All right. I look over at Osric again.
No, we should be fine. I'll go slow.
So you get to the base of the stairs, and by the time you reach the base of the stairs and look up, you realize it only goes up maybe 15, 20 feet, right? So it's just the top of the stairs was just barely out of your sight. And based on what you can see, it looks like it just continues in that same direction forward. The stairs are worn, carved. They feel like it'd be really nice if they're about 2 inches deeper, that if you could put more of your foot on each one of those steps.
Sometimes it's good to be little.
Yeah.
Riven stairs.
All right, so I'll head up the stairs.
It'll be uncomfortable to be 2 by 2, though it can be done. I do want to get a sense of marching orders.
Great.
I think with Osric kind of in bad shape, Aldrich would take the lead.
Okay.
I think I'll take lead if that's okay, because I have the torch,
Sure.
and then
And we can see and shoot and things over you.
Yeah.
And also, my natural halflingness makes me pretty good at dodging if necessary.
This is true. This is true.
I can swing over you if necessary.
Right.
Stop, drop,
Osric,
and roll is my standard tactical brilliance.
Osric, you want to be in the back, or you want me in the back?
No, I think I'll go in the back, and that way you don't have to shoot around me.
Okay.
I feel like I'm taking up a lot of space in what is this cramped hallway?
Fair enough.
I mean, I think all but Vasila of us are taking up as much space as possible.
So, Vasila, as you start up the steps, they're perfectly fitted for your feet as you climb up there. And it's kind of nice because so many times you've gone up steps that were just too tall, right? But these just comfortable as you go up. And behind you are your 3 companions. When you reach the top, it comes to another T section. And there's really not a whole lot of decision to be made here because the T to the left is collapsed within about 3 yards. You can see that it did extend out, and either there was a cave in or they didn't finish this, or it's hard to tell. But it's not inviting. To your right, it kind of curves around and then continues on.
Is there dust here?
No. No. And to be clear, you really haven't seen that kind of layer of the ground. And when I say dust, it's a stony dust, right? The kind of stony dust when you take 2 concrete blocks and scrape them together, you know? And you haven't seen that on the decline either. It was really only noticeable in that tomb area. Hey, Nate, thanks for the sub.
To the right then.
To the right.
Yep.
So, Vasila, as you go, it opens up wider. And you can immediately tell there's like little areas, like a room to the right with these little alcoves, and these little alcoves, like a barracks, right? Like little bed areas, and in some instances, there you can see the wood and the torn fabric of maybe cots that were there at some point. There's straw, like decayed, old, moist straw that's spread all over the ground of these. You can see furniture that has been destroyed and fallen to pieces, wooden furniture, maybe bureaus of some sort. Everything indicating to this area to the right at some point housed a group of somebodies. And ahead of you, it continues. And there's two things. One, the carved nature of where you are stops, and it becomes more cavernous, more dug out than carved. And it gives what it almost looks like as something came in and carved into this area, right? Or it was unfinished coming out, right? So they hadn't had a chance to do that incredible dwarven workmanship that has created these beautiful halls and ceilings. You also are getting a draft, the first air movement you have felt in a long time. There's some draft that's coming from this cavernous area.
I'm gonna stop and look behind me and be like,
Certainly interesting. Just wonder if this is unfinished, perhaps.
Yeah. Or they just hit natural caves and decided to look around.
but why would there be air moving?
Another ventilation shaft, maybe?
Is it wet? Does it have like moisture to it?
Actually, I think it's more of a fresher smell, right? So yeah, I think, as soon as Osric says maybe ventilation staff, you take a kind of a smell of the air, and it doesn't smell as moldy and as quite as musty from that cavernous area.
Well, if we need to make a camp, this would be a good spot.
Yeah.
I looked at
as a-
Osric like, do we need to?
Do we need to? I suppose we could, but no, we don't need to. We should just keep moving.
Remind me, Craig, what part of the day are we in?
We're in the second quarter.
Okay.
Second quarter, and we're kind of pushing our limits to get. We're not in the third quarter yet, but we're getting there.
So lunchtime, early afternoon ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
maybe this cave connects to some kind of exit. Another natural cave on the mountain.
that explain the breeze.
Well, why don't we take you need to have your bandages set and probably a little more painkiller. So why don't we just sit and enjoy the breeze, where we can maybe make a little fire, cook something up, and get you changed out, and then get back on our way.
I suspect that Osric grumbles a bit and finally, gives in. Craig, we've been pretty steadily heading down.
Yes.
And you said it was like a short flight of stairs, so not like a significant amount of up.
No, not it would be a fraction of how far it would be a fraction up of what you've gone down just in the decline, not to mention the flights of stairs that led.
Oh, right, of course. And we entered, if I remember, sort of like at the base of the mountain, not
Correct.
like into the mountain. So the idea that there would be a downhill exit directly on the ground level seems unlikely.
And obviously, I don't care how good of a miner you are. It's this is all very disorienting,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Sure.
At this point. So, but to kind of give you a feel, right? You entered in at ground level at the
Right.
base of this mountain, and you went forward a good like 50 some odd yards, and then it went down.
And then we came straight down.
Way
Right.
down.
And then we've done some
So you're
left, right,
more
lefting.
under this mountain than you are
Yeah.
in this mountain.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. And so the idea that there would be like an immediate
exit, yeah.
to a clearing that has sky seems very unlikely.
Unlikely. Yeah.
But
Huh.
okay. Just wanted to make sure I have a bearing for where I think I am, or at least where Osric thinks he is.
So we're going to go to some quarter day activities.
Sounds like we could do that.
So very
Well,
quickly
do
for
we
those
wanna-
of you watching, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do we
Priscilla.
want to take a full quarter day, or do we want to just kind
Like take a break non-mechanically.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we can do
I don't
that
think
too.
we desperately need the rest.
yeah? Mostly, I just think that trotting around a sick guy all that time is probably like, here's some more Advil. Like
And attribute wise, you're at full now, Osric, right? Because didn't we have a rest?
No, I during our last the round where Bacillus left, I attempted to learn a skill and drain my wisdom.
Strange yourself.
That's right. I made a very threatening face, and it pulled a wit muscle.
Pulled a muscle.
All right, so we won't take the whole quarter day. So let's have
Okay.
this ending, and we'll move into the third quarter day. So maybe a small fire, maybe make some tea. Vasilla, you do some of your newly found medicinal
Change
fun.
Osric.
Yep, you change Osric. I mean his bandages. During that time, can I get a sense of? I think I understand what Osric and Vasilla are doing for this maybe hour or two, but what are Aldrich and Sten doing?
Sten is probably going to sort of walk around like being at the edge of the firelight, just, going back and forth, looking out in different directions, seeing, listening, seeing if there's any sense of what else may be going on here, get a sense maybe of where that air is coming from.
Yeah, so it's definitely coming from that cavernous area, right? That's clear, and you'd have to leave the torchlight, or you'd have to
Right.
start a new torch in order to really explore that. Excuse me. It also slightly inclines up, but not nearly to the degree of the other incline nor the staircase. And as you've been kicking around kind of this barrack area, which is open enough where I would imagine the fire has started and where Osric and Vasilla are, you do step in the hay and hear a clang and kind of kick the hay to the side a little bit to figure out what you're standing on. And it's this rusted axe. Useless. Possible if you picked it up, it would crumble in your hands.
Yeah. And I imagine having, grown up inside the mist, I would have no context for knowing if this is a dwarven axe or anything like that.
You know what? I think you would. I think that there's enough tales told.
Well, we
enough
have met
Yeah.
dwarves.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we saw his axe. And we
Yeah,
saw
and
their axes.
you saw axes on the hips of the dwarves that you met outside the hollow. So yeah, I think you definitely identify this as dwarven born.
Okay. But clearly not something that was here recently. This is
No,
not part of the late
no.
expedition.
No,
All right.
no, and just rusted by decades, if not centuries.
Right.
maybe it's Rustbite's friend calling to it.
A little rusty. So Aldrich, I'm getting a sense of what Sten is doing. What's Aldrich doing?
I think Aldrich would just kind of be sitting by the fire, poking at it. I think he might even kind of go into describing how that taste was in the crypt. Just it felt like my mouth was. It's like something rotten had been lodged into my throat. It was. I honestly hope whatever we're looking for is not past that area, because that was vile. And
Does the ruby in the scepter, I forget his name now, does that have a taste?
it did.
It did, but Aldrich has become very familiar with it at this point. To the point,
Yeah,
Aldrich,
it's-
where I don't even think you recognize it.
Yeah, it's its background, it's like the air at this point. Like he's there. I know he's there. I can feel he's there, but I don't. It'd be too much to recognize that constantly.
If anything, the only thing you'd recognize Aldrich is if you didn't taste him anymore, right? If he were to be away from you, and the low hum emanating from Vasila's flute is also becoming background noise for you at this point.
Right. Speaking of our friend in the stick, someone's gonna have to. I put him next to the fire. Take him for a couple hours.
I suppose it's my turn.
Thank you.
And you get to hold the something of my pack that I can't carry.
All right, let me quickly
So heavy.
do the
so
transfer here. So let's hold on here. Let's go to gear.
Pack rats and yet.
My fishing hook and
It's your fishing line, yeah.
Yep.
All right, she now has the scepter. That puts her over. What do you want to give back?
The fishing hook and line.
Fishing hook and line is enough.
You don't have that anymore. You've got the flute. You've got the scepter. Oh no, you do have the fishing hook and line.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Okay, so trash there, trash there. Everybody is now good. Go ahead and take your damage.
And
from
that's
having the scepter.
Agility and wits. One of each.
Stupid magic.
Yeah, Roaster points out that Nakaka is the name of the scepter, but is that also the name of the gem?
No, that's
Yeah.
It's an A name or E name.
Algorod?
Algorod. That's the one.
Yeah. I'm going
remember
through my
that,
notes
because
and
he's
finding
in a rod.
names.
He's Al, the rod.
In the rod, yeah.
I'm sure whoever wrote Forbidden Lands and wrote those names in is like, God damn it.
It's probably not funny in Swedish.
Yeah, in Swedish, all of these names sound different.
Much cooler. Anyway, so all right. So do we want to go into the cavern or do we want to go back downstairs?
Well, I mean,
We gotta go into the cavern, right?
Anything interesting in there, Sten?
not that I've been able to see, but it goes well beyond the light.
Sure.
Here's the thing. We're going to, obviously we're here because we think we're going to find something. And so far, all we've found are things that are trying to kill us. If we find more of
That sounds
those, we're
familiar.
not in great shape. I would kind of rather find a decent spot to just hole up until Osric's feeling better. Because I worry that if we keep poking around, we're going to come across something we're not going to be able to handle unless we're all at full strength. But
It's
that's
not
just me.
unreasonable.
How are the food stocks?
I'm pretty full up.
I got a decent amount of food with me.
Decent amount sounds like the right answer.
There's wood here to burn for light so we can keep the torches.
Do we think
You know-
there is like actual significant wood for burning here?
Oh, you'd
in
be
this
able
room
to
and-
get at least a day or two of campfire out of the broken up furniture and cottonwood.
We couldn't use the axe to cut it up, but you know.
And the smoke won't be
Sorry, I've got that covered.
too much for us.
Depends on where you
that's
build
an
it.
excellent
Right?
question. Where, from the fire we set up here, where is the smoke going?
It's going back towards the where the incline and decline is, being pushed
Okay.
by that breeze.
Okay.
So the one value here is that moving air, which you would not necessarily get anywhere else you've been so far. So from a
Right.
campfire perspective, that's value, right? If you were to build that fire where that breeze is going to catch the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, that also means that anything out in the tunnels where it's going might smell that smoke and come looking. But
That should
we
be
can
fine.
find a defensive position here. Craig, you don't get a vote on what sounds fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
There
So,
are
I mean,
points.
if we've got the food and we think there's, we have enough to cover the time it'll lead Osric to heal up, that would be Stan's vote.
Not to break a record, but I think I actually agree with Stan on something.
Oh my goodness.
Now we know it's a bad idea. Now Stan's going, oh, maybe that's not what we should be doing.
Wait a minute. Hold
you know
on.
what?
Let me reconsider this. This can't be right. Yeah, I'm loath to have us sit here and be exposed for this amount of time, but I think it feels like it's gonna beat all of the alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I'd rather not
regular
find out too
watches
late
and-
that we've gotten in a bad situation. Yeah.
I mean, I think we could still end up in a bad situation just because
Oh,
there
always.
are things
Yeah.
there are things randomly moving around in here and could come find us at any moment.
We
But
were in a bad situation the day we left the town.
It's true.
I,
Not wrong.
so I guess that's the plan. And
So we are going to post up then.
Oh yeah, I think so.
All right, so we're going to spend that third quarter day doing quarter day activities, right?
Mm.
Yeah, party stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring up the party sheet
Party
and
sheet.
walk me through what we're going to do.
All right.
I guess
So, I'll keep watch. Oh, I guess my witch just got pinged. Unfortunate.
I mean, also,
Yeah, if we knew we were just gonna make camp, we could have just put the stick to the side.
Nah.
Sure.
I feel like someone
Uh-oh.
always has to pay the price for the stick.
Why are you rolling dice, Greg?
Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I didn't
things that
realize
are
I was
appli-
doing that where you could see me.
I'm
All right,
gonna
so
push.
you're going to push, okay?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty important to keep watch.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, that's a success.
All right. Craig, have we already kind of made camp, or do I need for a long?
No, we'll definitely need to make camp.
All right, I will do that thing.
Yeah, if we're going to have anybody sleep, we need to make camp.
Sure. It is done.
Very nice,
Ooh.
2
Can't make it.
successes. And so let's talk geographics a little bit here, right? So we've got this hall, right? This hall that dead ends but doesn't dead end because of this cavern that continues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to the right, it's kind of open. The right-hand side of the hall opens up to this barrack room, which has a common area in the center and just these alcoves, which you figure out very quickly slept maybe 15.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we think we're going to be? Where are we
You know,
setting up camp?
I think, if we check and make sure those side rooms don't have any other exits or anything from them, I think setting up in that kind of center area might be our best bet, because anything that comes at us will theoretically have to come through the door.
Yeah.
And then we have those side
Yeah.
rooms if we ever need
In
to
that sort of alcovey
fall back or
dormitory
anything.
space.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set up a trip line at the door with my fishing line.
I like that. And there's no roll needed for that facility because you're going to take your time. There's no pressure. So,
Yeah. I'll make
yeah.
sure to let all of my party know that there is a trip line.
So the question I have though is, setting the line as a trip line is one thing, but how do we know if someone's touched it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Do we don't have any do we have any like pots or pans or something that would make a banging noise if someone bumped against it?
How about the rusty axe? Would
There you
that fit?
go.
Support
Look
it.
at you making
Make
use of
something
things we
clatter.
find on the road.
Yeah. So Vasily, I think if you pick up that axe that Stend came across, some of the blade almost sticks to the ground because it's been there so long. So as it break up, the rust just gives.
Mm.
But if you were to lean that up against, just barely just balancing it up against the wall, and then run your line across, someone who were to kick that line would cause the axe to fall. I'm good with that.
Cool.
All right, so I've got to keep watch for Vasilla. I've got a making camp for Sten.
I don't know if I have anything to do.
You have enough
You
willpower to
rest.
do anything useful?
willpower to do anything useful?
Or sorry, experience points.
Oh, I could again attempt to learn to be threatening. That's
You gotta
very exciting.
mean mug the darkness some more.
Just grumbling by fireplace. I
So
could
do you want
definitely do that.
you want to train Osric?
Yeah, that's the plan, I guess.
All right, let's go and do that.
We're gonna make
How
that
to
wits
train
roll.
your
Although you know
Osric.
what, I think I'm gonna rest first because there's no
Yeah.
sense in doing
When you're
that
not-
wits roll with
yeah.
a lowered wits. So I
Yeah.
am going to rest this quarter next to
Which is
the
reasonable. You are
conveniently
also
built
the one
fire.
with a bleeding gut. Perhaps
Mhm.
sleep would be appropriate.
All right, so that last but not least, that leaves Aldrich.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I think we're gonna go ahead and bite the bullet, and I'm gonna train and finish up Pack Rat.
Nice.
Woo! And then he's
That-
gonna swim around in that empty bag he's got.
Exactly.
That brings you to 3.
That brings me to 3 on Pack Rat.
And can we quickly explain to everybody what that now makes?
So Pack Rat, and I will post it in chat, gives me a full now 10 additional items without being encumbered.
Jeez.
That's fantastic. So we have Aldrich in the corner, maybe one of those alcoves, taking everything out, putting everything back in, taking everything out, putting back in, and each time he's like, "Ooh, I could like if I do this." Yeah.
I
could do it.
visualize him putting on one of those like big, racks on his backpack, building this kind of wooden contraption to carry
Yeah.
more stuff.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, especially with all this old dwarven equipment. Like if I just make spacers for the bag, I can make more space.
What if I take these little bags and I press all the air out when I put things in them and they vacuum seal?
Exactly.
So Osric falls asleep very quickly. Sten building the fire, kind of clearing out some of that hay and getting some of the rotten straw out of there, kind of cleaning up the joint a little bit. Aldrich packing and unpacking. And what does Keep Watch look like for Vasilla?
So she gets Osric settled, and part of like the end of 2 into 3, right? Gets them all changed out, and she probably dosed him a little bit with something to get him to.
That's Arvasi.
I don't tell any of you this, obviously, but
course.
it's just he's tired from his bleeding gut, naturally. So I think what she normally would do is sing, but like she has naturally not been singing in the tunnels because it's very disturbing, like because the way it rebounds and
Yeah.
feels tight. So I think for her, she can't keep herself awake by like singing to herself. So instead, she is. I think she is like idly like walking in like annoying circles and like making patterns in the like with the wood and just like doing stuff that keeps her like aware and awake. So she's like, and she uses her uh sling to like basically a fidget spinner. And she's like just playing with it, like twirling it together, like making knots out of it, just everything she can. But she's kind of like keeping, check on
Yeah.
her handiwork, go back.
And when the torch finally gives, you throw it into the fire that's being built by Sten, and the campfire now is supplying enough of a light perimeter where you don't need to do any torch rolls. And an hour or two pass, and everybody's kind of lost. You're together, but you're by yourselves. You're siloed in your activities. And you're fiddling with your sling as you're kind of walking around Vasilla, and you feel a bump. Under you? Like something pressed up for just a moment.
Like I'll leap back and like is it like the floor is like raised? Did like someone like push my foot? Like what kind of raised up?
And this is where it's tough because I don't think Vasilla's ever encountered an earthquake necessarily, right? But
Well,
and,
except the ones that happen with the scepter every time.
oh, that's true. It's very similar to that. That's a great point, right? In the way that the earth doesn't move, right? We go through every minute of every day with one thing, which is what we stand on generally doesn't move unless we're on water.
Right.
And it moved. And it was
I look back to, like, I've got the scepter on me, right? Because I'm the one that was carrying it
do.
around. So I'm like, I like check it to make sure it's like there and like not like glowing or doing causing earthquake to occur. Does it like feel anything? I'm gonna take a couple steps back and get Aldrich and be like, "Is it? You got tongue taste, boy?
No, there's something happened.
Did you feel the earth do the thing that the scepter does?
The earth moved for you too.
No, did you? You didn't like hit it on the ground, did you?
No.
Hmm.
Didn't drop it. Didn't trip. Didn't nothing.
Sten, you overhear this.
No, I didn't notice anything, did I?
I guess show me where it happened, and Aldrich would get up from his bag packing and follow Vasilla to the source.
Walk back to it as best I can figure, and
Yeah, you walk back there, and it's really kind of on the edge, and it's not very clearly marked, right? Because kind of the hall bleeds into this barracks, and it's really kind of where you stand, where Vasilla says she felt that. You're maybe 10 feet away from the far hall that extends all the way down opposite of you, and you can see down to where you came from the campfire glint. You see the fish line. To your right, you can see up. So you're like right at that threshold. And Vasilla says, here. And Aldrich, you stand, everything feels fine, and you kind of kick some of that straw away. And you see a fresh crack in the floor. And you can tell by the sharpness of that crack how fresh it is. That's what she felt, was the crack in that floor forming.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that is. I've seen a couple houses go down like that. Well,
Do we hear anything?
There's a lot of activity. Are we shushing
Aldrich
everybody, Sten?
snoring.
Yeah, I'm gonna...
they just kind of.
So Sten kind of tells, shh, shh. And everybody kind of stops, right? We hear the sleep apnea from Osric, but everything
I
else,
should be used to that by now.
yeah, everything else is pretty quiet. And the question was, do I hear anything? And as you get to that area, you've got the deepness of the barracks. You've got this little hall wall to the other side, and you just kind of stop, stand, and close your eyes to enhance that one sense. You realize you didn't need to, as the entire wall of that hall gives way and collapses in towards you. Let's take a
Greg,
10-minute
I was kidding
break.
about the earthquake.
We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh no!
Thanks, Coda. I think the only word I'm trying to think during the break, how I would describe what it feels like right now, and all I can come up with is disorienting and disruptive, right? It's what was a sheer wall you took for granted is just now pushed and falling into you. And as you all step back, you see why. And it's I don't want to say head, it's the tip more than the head. It's the tip of this huge, sticky mucus covered maggot is the best word I can come up with. It's this worm type thing that is pressed into this wall. It's about a good 6 foot in girth, and it's kind of this cloudy white. And you can see, because as it pushes through this rubble that it's broken through, the mucus that's pulling off of its skin that's stretched into the hole it's made, and the little slit at the tip of it that's just kind of opening up a little bit.
Greg, you're not making this any better.
Yeah, let's roll initiative.
Yeah.
Pull cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay over here asleep. I'm gonna take a nap. It's fine.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Don't worry about me.
It says we need to initiate combat.
Oh, sorry. Let me do that.
That's
We don't
you.
need to.
I told you guys to walk without rhythm when
Maybe-
we came down here.
Maybe the worm is peaceful.
Mhm.
Counter offer.
Fiends.
Counter offer. Ooh, very nice. A 1, a 4, a 2. So we got a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 4. I don't know how you're not supposed to be able to draw 4 twice.
You know
Not
what?
sure how that happened. All right, we'll figure that out.
Oh,
And then-
Vasilla rolled
Oh,
rather than drawing a card.
Come on, Vasily.
Somebody can't follow simple instructions.
Vasily, can you
Well.
do real quick? Just do the card draw off the macro.
I need a token to do that. Hold on.
You have a token. It should be on.
You're
the-
on there.
Yeah. You need to select your token, but I'm just pushing my little token.
You'll have to
Are you
change
in
from the little
the-
calendar view to the little widget token controls.
Hit the little meeple in the upper left-hand corner on the menu on the left.
This is what we get for playing with the calendar.
All right, that's 7. There we go. All right, last but not least, our new friend.
You say friend.
All right.
I
Seems
don't
So
very
think that
nice.
word means what you think it means.
this thing
Seems
this thing
nice.
falls right in between the 4 of you.
Uh-huh.
Of course, before we get things started, we get to you guys can swap cards amongst you. So who wants to go first, second, and who wants to go fourth, seventh?
I'm gonna take that 7 and let
That
the people
seems
who
fair.
are in Monsterland deal with Monsterland first.
Who's taking Osric's 4?
Vasilla, are you thinking you want to yell for us?
I mean, I certainly am going to yell.
Right, okay. Are you going to yell in a way that is important that you do it before we do anything?
Yes, I can do so.
All right, so I'm going to trade between Aldrich and Vasilla. So now I've got Vasilla, Sten, Aldrich, Osric.
Aldrich, would you rather go before it, or
That's fine either way.
and you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to try and shoot it. So we'll see
Right.
what happens. Let's see how that goes.
Who knows? Maybe you one-shot it.
Ha, sure, that could
So
happen.
the rubble collapses. This thing now is taking up the entire. You're now pushed back into this barracks area because between the rubble and the head of this worm thing that came through the wall has kind of pushed you back. Vasily, you're first. You
All
have
right,
slow and
I'm
fast
going
action.
to Path of the War Cry, which I'm sure the folks in the chat probably know, but I spend willpower to give that much willpower as dice to my friends until my friends end me until the end of my next activation. So because we can pass cards around it, you can kind of like double dip. So I'm going to yell, keep away well, I get to Osric, and I'm gonna spend 3 willpowers to do so.
Ooh, wow. So it's going to give
Because
3 additional dice.
protecting
I
Osric
like dice.
is high importance to me. He's an okay kind of guy, and then I'm gonna take my move action to get back to Osric to get him up and moving.
Very good. All right. So that's your slow and your fast action. Let's go to Sten.
Let me ask you this, Craig. Does this thing look like it has, I don't know, is it like a hard armory shell, or does it look kind of soft and squishy?
Soft and squishy is a strong word, but it's not hard, right?
Okay.
It's fleshy.
Okay.
It's this milky fleshiness, kind of got large ribs formed.
Then I am going to assume that it is not armored. So I am going to back up and put a couple arrows into it.
All right, let me check this for you. So it's going to get an armor roll. So let's have it stand. So where you're
okay.
looking at the thing in the hide and just the mucus and everything, like there's better places to hit this than other
Okay.
places, right? Which is
Cool.
how I imagine Sten circumvents armor is finding
Sure.
the right spot. And between the ribbing and
Okay.
the slit mouth and stuff, you recognize that there's
There are
better
some
places to hit this
options.
thing. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I am going to spend a point of willpower because as part of blah, 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 which one is that? Path of the Arrow, I can avoid armor, which seems relevant at this time. So I spend a willpower on that, and then I'm going to make my roll. That is that. I have sharpshooter, and I have a D8 artifact die. First shot.
Two successes.
Okay.
2 banes.
And the bane is on.
Or just the one
Oh,
bane.
no, 2 damage. 1 bane.
Bane on the longbow.
Yeah, I don't want to risk breaking that right now, so I'll leave that one as it is and just do the 2 damage.
So it fires,
Mm-hmm.
and the arrow goes, and it goes just to the left of that slit, right? And you can see that it goes in, and all the years of hunting, Sten, an arrowhead disappearing into the flesh of something you hit should cause a reaction. This thing only seems to be pushing forward and moving its like head, eyeless head and mouth just kind of going like this. It did not acknowledge your arrow.
Craig, I apologize. I did not include Vasila's 3 dice.
Yo, let's
So
go
I'm
ahead
just
and
going to
roll
roll
those.
3d6
Yep.
here. Right, no difference.
Okay, great. Let's do a quick arrow roll.
Sure. That was a good arrow. Okay. And then because I have fast shooter, I'm going to do it again.
All right. So the first thing is your
again-
slow action, and then is this a free action?
This is a fast action. I can shoot as a fast action.
Gotcha.
And I can also shoot and run at the same time. So I backed up during the first shot. All right. So this is another shot, spending another willpower to bypass armor. I will include the bonus dice this time.
So many dice.
So many dice, and yet only one success.
So-
I will push this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a little better.
Better. What was the 1 damage to agility?
Agility. Yep.
All right. But
Yep.
3 total damage.
Mm-hmm. And I'll make the other arrow roll.
And it's not that you're not hitting. It's not that it's not puncturing, but it doesn't seem to acknowledge what's happening. And the movement of it is slow but strong, and it seems to be exploring, right? It seems to be trying to get a feel for what's out here, and now that it's broken through into this area, there's no sense that it has any type of eyes or ears or anything.
Well, hopefully it will soon start realizing that the things around here are sharp and pointy and bad, and it will go away. That's my actions. I'm done. I hate when Craig has that little smirk at the corner of his mouth when he's figuring out what goes on. That's a lot of dice.
Yeah, but last time we said that I was like 0 rolls, and that was a much better roll.
So I think this is going to be on you, Aldrich.
Yep.
I feel like Sten is back. I feel like Osric is on the ground.
That was a moment of take a step forward and
Vasilla
everybody
ran
else
back.
took a step backwards.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and Vasilla, is kind of run back towards Osric. And as this thing is exploring Aldrich, and you're trying to avoid the rubble crushing at your feet and making the ground below you feel unstable as the broken stone goes, this thing just turns its body onto you and just presses you, and you just feel this flesh up against you and the mucus up against you, and it just presses you into that far left wall. I need you to take 2 strength damage.
Can I dodge?
You can. Yes, I will let you dodge.
All right. That's gonna be terrible, but we're gonna try. Yeah, we'll do a non-standing. Well, no, that's. Oh no, it's really bad either way. Yep. All right.
Oh no.
Aldrich tries to dive to the ground, but it just continues to get pushed.
And you just see Aldrich disappear behind this thing as it presses into the wall, and all you see is the cracking of the wall as Aldrich's body is pressed into it.
So Craig,
And then I'm gonna do an armor roll.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to be that guy.
No, definitely be that guy. I like being that guy. Go.
I know, but it looked like the roll suggests 4 damage.
Because it's 2 per damage.
Well, no, it's base damage is 2, and you had 3
Oh, you're 100%
successes.
right. Yes, thank you. That's exactly right. I was looking
Ugh.
at just the base damage in the thing, so it's 4 damage. Does that break
well.
you, Aldrich?
Yes, sir.
No, that was a good call. Thank you.
Thanks, Stan.
Brian, not Sten.
Sorry, Aldrich.
Thanks, Brian.
Why do we even teach Brian how to read?
All right.
Oh, my ribs.
I mean, to be fair, that makes
Not
sense
lethal.
for the action
Yeah.
as described.
Very
so,
fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Just immediately crushed.
All right.
Ugh.
So we'll figure out the 6 days later. -2 to move and melee.
Oof.
I've had that. It's no fun.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
I did.
So you can feel that press up against you as you realize that you're gonna give before this worm and the wall.
Yeah, I think it immediately like blacks him out. Like he just.
Mm-hmm.
So Aldrich, you get a fast action.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, you are broken, but you still get a fast action.
dude, I completely knocked out.
I guess I would like kind of come to and just start like crawling away just to get to one of those nooks.
And I'm not even sure this thing even knows what it did to you.
Right,
Aldrich.
it just
I don't
was
even know if
driving.
it attacked you. Right, it just is exploring. So as soon as it reaches the wall, not realizing there was something between it and the wall, it starts just to move back again, and your body falls to the ground. And I'm just imagining like elbow army crawl, and just the rib just pressing up against you. Osric, you roll to your feet from a slumber.
Don't tear your stitches.
I feel like I'm gonna have to do the stitches.
No, you
We've-
go. I'm going to point towards the stairs down.
Can we
What-
even get to those now?
This
Yeah,
thing
help
was
me reorient. I'm sorry.
So this thing has now filled any escape to the cavern or any escape
All right.
back to where you came from.
Because we chose this place that there was only one entrance because it
Right.
was defendable.
And now we don't know how long this thing is. It's still coming out of where it
Jesus.
emerged from. Is there a possibility that one or the other might open? It's possible. But right now, it has filled this hall, and between the rubble and its milky white body, it's just
Help me
And-
orient it just a
and
little
it's
bit more
and
against.
the floor and the ceiling are pressing into its body. It doesn't fit exactly. Go ahead.
So my understanding is that basically we're in like this little, like a little cutout of a tunnel, right? Like the tunnel goes, let's say,
Well,
top
it's
to
a cut-
bottom, and then
it-
like a
the
left-right
cutouts-
cutout.
Yeah,
is-
it's large enough though, Osric, that if slept 15.
Right. But it's the wall that it has come from is the wall opposite the alcove.
Correct.
Okay. And it is now sort of just blocking our any ingress or egress to the two
Correct.
sides, because it's sort of pushed its way into what is this space.
Yeah. And you have all of what was that wall, and the dirt behind, and the mountain behind that wall has poured into this area.
Uh-huh. If I were talking range bands, how far away would I be from it?
You're right there.
So
It won't.
near?
It won't take a fast action to strike it.
Could it? Because then I could use melee charge and I'd get another
Then
die.
use melee charge. I'm not going to argue against it.
You take a step back and then rush it.
Exactly.
Oh, this seems like such a bad idea.
I mean, there are no good ideas in this situation.
There certainly do not seem to be many. I think that
Right now, you are empty-handed.
yes, that the first thing Osric will do is find the trident that he has left to his side as he was resting, and pick that up. So that would be my fast action. And then he's going to melee charge into the horrible worm monster, much to I'm sure Vasilla's chagrin.
I mean,
So I want to take just a moment here because Vasilla's come to you as your doctor. As you stand, what is this half second before Osric charges? What happens here?
I absolutely imagine this idea that Vasilla, expected to help me up and move me to the left or right, and I think that as Osric, the noise of the room being destroyed and so on and so forth, as Osric came to and began to assess the situation, he realized that that's not going to be an option for him, and also as he sees Aldrich fall and Sten pulling back into this position and all of this, that he realizes that there's not that's not going to work, and we're not going to get away that way. And it certainly seems, at least to me at this point, that this thing is coming into this space, and assuming it is in fact burrowing, the place it's going to next go is behind us, so it's going to have to go through us to get there. So I feel like those are, we're out of options, and I'm sure Vasilla is like, no, you're going to stay, and then turns and realizes that that's also not an option, but is probably not thrilled.
Let's do the charge. Make sure you add the 3 dice from Vasilla's inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just have Vasilla running towards you.
What did I just say?
and
I
I'm
think
gonna,
she got like. Imagine if she just like got like the slam of the body, like it tripped her and like
no way
pushed
here,
her,
left,
like
right. I
throwing
need
her
to
down as she was
find-
going, and like there's just. I don't know that Vasilla's like has anything to do right now other than be like, holy. Crap.
Do this.
Yeah.
We can do this. Do that. Sorry, the trident was not equipped.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it now. So it's like, oh, it's asking me about artifact dice. I'm like, wait, no, I don't get to use those. Don't get to use those. And it's 3 as a modifier.
Mhm.
Is it? Oh, it's 4 because it's counting the one from melee charge.
Yep.
All right.
Be a lot of dice.
Do you have
Not rust
Bacillus
bite dice, but a lot
Not
of
rust
dice.
bite dice, but
God, it's a lot of banes.
No,
That's
only one
one to
bane.
strength.
is it on strength too? Gross. So I am not gonna push that, but I will take my strength damage for taking a melee roll.
Yeah.
So
4 is gonna have to do it.
you come at it, and how do you attack with a trident? There's all different ways, right?
I imagine he's just rushing right in and sort of just gives it a good. He's not
Like from
trying
the
to
hip over the head. What do we?
I like from the hip as like a two-handed sort of from the hip. Using the momentum to just push right at it.
And you see Sten's arrows as you get close to this thing, as the trident goes in to this body, and it punctures like the skin of an apple, right? The skin of an apple gives you resistance, and then
I'll
it gets
spend the willpower
soft.
to dodge the armor too.
Okay, yeah, I figured you were going to.
I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time? The armor thing caught me.
Yeah, so it pierces the skin like the skin of an apple gives resistance, and then it becomes soft afterwards. Unlike what we saw with the arrows, this has impacted it because we see the
sure.
worm jerk and give and acknowledge the fact that this 3-pronged staff has gone into its body. The head of it is gone. In fact, your left hand holding this as it presses into that flesh touches where it punctures.
Do not like. Dislike.
All right, top of the order. Do we want to make some trades?
Yeah, I'm going
I
to
think so.
4. Do you want to stay 4 and me go to 7? Probably.
I feel like Vasilla should probably go last.
Right.
I mean, that keeps the protect Osric.
Yeah.
As the,
All right, so let me quickly do that trade between Osric and Vasilla.
Don't particularly want to swing again.
Oh,
No.
we can do more trades after that. I just want to get that trade out of the way.
Sure.
I mean, we can go ahead and put me in the front. I mean, Aldrich is probably still in danger, so maybe we want him to go early so we can get out of the way. So maybe swap Aldrich and Osric.
I mean,
Yeah, if we think that he's in the path of destruction and would be a collateral damage, we can. let him
And
go
there's
first.
enough room where Aldrich with a fast action could get out of danger.
Okay.
That's
I
fine.
think we should do that.
Okay.
That seems fair.
Well, I
So
appreciate
the last trade is here. All
Okay,
right, so
that's done.
Works for me.
Aldrich,
crawling
fast-
away and coughing up blood.
fast action, crawling away. I don't know why it's doing this. All right, Sten.
Second verse, same as the first. Spending willpower to avoid that armor nonsense. And taking 2 shots. Oh, not 41 dice. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
that'd be
Think
hard.
of all the banes.
Yeah, right.
It's kind
Good
of where you
to know.
never have to push.
Stan.
Speaking of,
Fucking 1 damage. Yeah, I'm gonna push it. Oh, great.
oh,
Oof.
Well, Now it gets
no.
complicated.
No.
Is that your whole bow?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
Did I say I thought it was a
no.
bad idea to go into these mines? I feel like I did.
Oh no!
No.
first it was the
So,
arrows, now it's the bow.
So yeah, I mean, he's seeing how durable this thing is, and he just kind of pulls back and pulls back and pulls back, and he lets go. And I think it's as he's drawing for the second shot that it just gives way, and the top horn of the bow just cracks.
And this arrow goes into the maw. It goes into this first time you've seen any color out of this thing, this pinkish, this pale pinkish interior that you see as the maw, like, and it's a slit, just kind of opens. The arrow goes into it, into the inside, and Sten, there's no question, the head, the front of this thing, I don't even think it's a head, just kind of pulls back. So the first two arrows that you shot did nothing. The trident had an impact, and so did this arrow.
Okay.
But your bow breaks.
Yeah. So, I have a knife. Can I throw it?
I'm gonna throw you my sling.
All right, so just so real
Okay.
quick here, let's talk about the first action with all of your
Mhm.
skills and everything. Was that a slow?
No, my shooting is always a fast action.
It's always a fast. All right, so that's the fast. So you still
Mhm.
have a slow.
All right.
And Vasila, if you
So-
want to spend your fast now out of initiative order, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. If
If
I
you want
see
to
his
throw
bow
this
break,
sling,
yeah, I will throw you my sling whenever I become available to do so.
Okay. I mean, Craig, if you want, I can throw the knife now and then get the sling when it's Vasila's turn.
I think that's probably makes the most sense. So if you want
All
to
right.
spend your slow to throw that knife, let's do that right now.
All right, cool. So, I guess how I can equip.
If you drag it up to
Yeah, into
equipped, it'll
gear.
just move.
Oh, is it just okay? Cool. So then I will go here. And well, it's treating it as a melee attack. So
Just
I'm
add the
just gonna,
dice.
yeah, exactly. So my agility is currently the same as my strength, so that's fine. Instead of melee, I will use marksmanship. And
This is a
then
really important roll.
yeah, you think really? All right. The
This is gonna be
artifact
incredibly
die only
badass.
applies to bows and crossbows.
Can't even look.
Tell me about it.
I'm excited.
I think
I'm ready
that's
to
all
just
the
see it.
stuff.
He'll never let us live this down.
Wolf
Oh!
Rider.
Now let me
What's the
just see
bait?
if I can avoid
It'd be to his agility.
Let's do it. It's the
it would
strength.
be to well
Oh.
because strength is assuming it's a melee
Right.
attack, which it's not. So it would go to agility. Let me just see. Okay, it does say I can spend willpower on a ranged weapon attack
Yeah, I'm
to
fine with
avoid the
that.
armor, so I would have done that.
Yep.
But I have to push this at this point.
I agree.
Oh!
That's better. I'm going to
All right,
move that damage from strength to wits.
Yes. Yeah. Make that
Bro,
Or
adjustment.
agility, rather. Sten is very angry at this point.
How does
and
this
he's got-
knife kill this thing?
So I figure he the last arrow he got out of his bow hit it in the mouth, for what we'll call it, and he basically saw that got a reaction. So he basically pulls out this knife, and this is a knife that he has had for probably 30 years. And he just, doesn't even think about it. He's just, take this, you son of a bitch, and throws the knife right where the arrow was, figuring that hopefully there is something vulnerable there.
And if it's okay with you, and stop me if it's not, Brian, but
Mhm.
the arrow went to the left side of this thing's maw, right? And it's the first time you saw blood, right? So the
Mhm.
arrow went to this little pinkish area and you saw red. And the knife goes,
Mhm.
but you don't see it hit because you went a little bit to the right and it went deep, deeper than you could see. And you hear the first sound that isn't the crushing rock and the chaos. You hear a noise, and then the earth moved to start this. The earth moves to end it as its body slams and gives to gravity. And all of you jerk and just see the red escape from the slit at Vasilla's feet, where this slit is at the head of this thing.
Sten just drops his bow and immediately heads over to where Aldrich is.
That was a hell of a throw.
Make sure it's dead. And that's probably to Osric and Vasilla. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do that, but I think they'll come up with
Poke
something.
it with a stick.
With a melee roll.
Move, dang it.
Yeah.
And Jim, you took the point in strength, right? From the
I did
bleeding
take
gut.
the point in strength for taking a melee action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, I'm going to look at Sen and say, all right, take him over there, get him flat. Don't move as much as you can, Aldrich, till I can look. I pick up your axe and I just like double hand, like chopping wood
Executioner
at this,
chop.
like front of its face.
And it's a very disconcerting squish sound.
Right.
And you keep chopping at it, Vasilla, until you get through that hide and start drawing blood. And the speed that the blood escapes tells you this thing is dead. That whatever heart that's pushing stopped pushing.
I imagine that like Vasilla doesn't see or notice or care, and and like Osric has to grab her by the shoulder and lass, it's done, it's done. Tend to Aldrich.
Get yourself to sit down too, and then I'll go over to Aldrich.
Don't die on me, you bastard. I need you to fix my bow.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I'm gonna be like, Osric, boil me water, and then I'm gonna just like get.
Why don't I
like,
do that, Osric? You sit your ass down
wipe my
and
hands
put some pressure on those stitches.
down as best I can, and then go to work to see what terrible damage has been done to my friends now.
So quick for everybody watching, quick status check. So on an attribute level, where is Sten?
The only thing I'm damaging is agility, which is 2 of 4.
2 of 4. All right. Aldrich.
I have taken all 4 of my strength damage, and I also have the lingering agility and wits damage from the scepter.
Vasilla, you're full.
I've only been drained by the scepter, so what's
right. 1 agility, 1 wits, right? And Osric?
I've taken 1 strength damage.
Out of
5.
Okay. So it sounds like we're going to do a healing roll on Aldrich.
Yep.
And is this going to be attribute heal or critical injury heal?
Critical injury heal.
All right.
I'm more worried about keeping him actually alive than.
Yeah, I mean, it's in this system, if you have time, right? If you don't need him to go back into battle, right?
Yeah.
If you have time, you're better off treating the critical injury
rest.
and then just rest for attribute. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the ribs aren't lethal, so like as long as I get a night's rest after this, I'll be okay.
If I need to, I can use the Path of the Hymn to get him to even just 1 strength if we need him to like get up and move.
All right, so let's do that. Let's use Path of the Hymn, go to 1 strength. Aldrich. and then
And
we're
then
gonna
I'm going
treat
to
the
make my
ribs.
healing roll for the ribs. I push it.
Oh,
Hey.
I was closer than I'd like.
You know, the question I'm going to ask: how do you take 2 damage in empathy?
I think I'm freaking out. I think Vasila is freaking out. She just the wall just collapsed in at her face as this giant nasty maggot thing came in. She saw her friend get like smashed with like ribs poking out of his like jerkin when she gets it off, and like her other friend is like bleeding from the stitches that she had already made. His bow just broke. I think I'm just like I'm overwhelmed, and so I'm just starting to like chop off. Like I'm going into like emergency chop off emotional. Like we don't have time for emotions. Those are unhelpful things right now, and so I'm shoving them into the bag and just working on get things done. Him crying in pain or wincing in pain or the like squelching sounds. All that has to just be chopped. All the trauma. Goodbye for now.
All right, so the 37th day of spring rise is when this heals. You cut it in half. It was 6 days. This cuts it in half.
Nice.
Osric, whatever you got as a benefit of this 3rd quarter rest, I need you to go back because it didn't happen.
Oh, right. I didn't get my.
Do the best you can and remember.
No, it was pretty easy. It was just a wits damage.
Yeah, right. From me mugging the air.
That's right.
Mhm.
From it was a horrible training accident.
All right, so we need to Sten. Take this. I give him my sling, so now you at least have a
Oh,
weapon.
all right. I'll take
Yeah.
care of that.
Because now your knife is deep in the gullet of a whatever. And
Oh, I'm getting that knife back.
Yeah, he'll get it back. I'm good with that.
I am also going to see, has it blocked off this tunnel in either direction with the rubble and debris and shit?
So as you look, Stan, it has, right? So the light of this, the remnants of the coals of the fire still kind of illuminates and is split by the body of this thing. There's rubble to the right, rubble to the left. If someone said sprint go, you would not be able to get to either thing. But you can tell with 20 minutes, you could move enough rubble to go either to the caverns or back where you came.
Okay. So that's actually better. There's nothing else, unless another one of these things comes around.
Right.
It's going to be able to get to us.
We thought we were
Are
pretty
we
good the
still
first time.
getting that fresh air coming through? I mean, probably not as
No.
much. Okay.
You'd have, but you know it's because of the rubble and the body.
Right. So if I can like unblock that, not maybe enough to travel through, but enough that we are
Yes.
getting air. Okay. I'll start working on that.
so are we trying to find a different place to camp, or are we hanging out with this corpse of a thing?
Well, honestly, now it's going to be that much harder for anything to get up to us. I don't know that we've seen anything in the caves that'll want to screw with one of these things, dead or alive. So I'd be inclined to stay here because we're even less fit to go poking around someplace new.
And it's cut this barracks in half, right? So you all could have more than enough room, even at half the size of this thing. If it housed 15, there's only 4 of you. So just real quick, you can go to the cave side or the mine side, which you came from. Which side of this worm are we going to gather? Because
I don't know that
it bisects.
yeah. I don't know that it particularly matters.
Oh, it matters. He wouldn't have asked if it didn't matter.
All right.
Or he did, and he's playing mind games.
uh,
I'd
I
say
like
wherever these two are already camped.
I I guess in my initial thinking, I was like direct, like dead center, as far back as you could be in that alcove is where I would have expected, sort of, right, like, because it is as far away from potential danger. Uh, if we believe we can't fit in that nook anymore, or there's more space to either side of that nook, I'm inclined to lean towards the cavernous space, uh, because I feel like that the air that's been coming from there is uh, a more optimistic sign than the space we came from, even though it is somewhat more unknown. Like we also don't really know what's down continuing down the other side of that other path. So I think both
Mhm.
sides are actually pretty unknown.
That's
So
fine by me.
I feel like towards this fresh air wave is better.
All right, so let's have you guys there.
I set up. I guess we have to remake camp, like, because I'm gonna set
No,
up.
I'm not going to make you do that. So
I,
we're going to go
I
right.
had set up as best I can to give them both
Yeah.
sleeping.
Let's go right to fourth quarter.
I was all ready to keep watch. I had slept.
Well,
but
so
no.
so this is a full fourth quarter.
Mhm.
Nobody's rested. What are we
Right.
going to do?
I'm keeping watch.
You sure? Because I'm good to keep watch if you need the rest.
No, I need you to be fighting fit, and I don't want to make sure that his gut and ribs are fine.
Okay.
Like, so I'm gonna keep
No,
watch.
it's tough to argue
All right.
with her. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sten's picking his battles. This is not one that is worth arguing for.
One of these days I'll make her roll. It'll be swell.
Why do we even put you on watch?
Oh, no.
Jesus. She passes out on watch.
She's stressing.
Does that break you
Oh.
on wits?
Nope, I have
no,
one left.
there was still one more.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
Jeez.
And I don't think you have to narrate this, Dave, because I just think it is. This has been a lot.
A lot.
So yeah, she's keeping watch. She's also all over the fucking place. And
Mm-hmm.
between Aldrich and Osric and this thing that's blocking half the room, you're just everywhere. What is Osric doing this quarter day?
I think Osric is. I guess this time it officially has to be sleep, so I'm not sleepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I become sleepy.
You do.
will be sleepy.
Same for Aldrich. Aldrich just passes out
Mm-hmm.
All
between
right,
the
sweet.
pain and whatever Vasila's giving him, and just
And I'm gonna have this thing. We had a successful make camp, so everybody can sleep, and that happened after this worm decided it wanted to check if you had any sugar it could borrow. So I've got Aldrich sleeping. Sounds like I have Osric sleeping. Is that right?
Yes.
What's Sten doing?
Sten is trying desperately to sleep because he knows he's going to have a lot to do in the morning.
Who's keeping watch?
Theoretically, Vassy.
You did a great job. Nothing but confidence.
I tried.
So, Vassy, you spend the better part of the 3 hours in this quarter day kind of all over the place. Tending to a sleeping Aldrich. Tending to a sleeping Osric. If there were black Sharpies in Forbidden Lands drawing faces on Sten. But at some point, you get the brilliant idea. And Dave, you know how this works, right? At any point you say, Craig, I would not do that.
Hmm.
At some point you get the brilliant idea. I think I'm going to crawl over this thing and see what's happening on the other side. And you do. And you get the sticky, just this mucus that draws like alien spit, right? It's dark over there, and you're like, yeah, this was a terrible idea. But when you come back, you see Aldrich, you see Sten, you see Osric sleeping. And you slide off the front of this, the nose of this thing. And you're like, why is that mucus all over the place? Wait, no, it's not mucus. It's fungus. So each of them are sleeping, and there's this white mushroom fungus that is clearly coming from the ground, which is not dirt, it is stone. And it's crept up to cover about 2/3 of each of them as they sleep. And you couldn't have been gone 10 minutes.
I yell some more. Wake up, Stan, wake up! And I run over and I get out like my knife and I start trying to like peel it back from Osric's wound is probably bound better than like I'm more worried about getting into his gut than his broken ribs. Like broken ribs hurt and hard to move, but like into like a gut wound seems worse to me.
And Vasila, just as you get there, you're yelling and you go right to Osric, right? And you pull your knife out, which is smart to kind of peel away. As your hand touches Osric, this fungus, this white milky fungus, gives way just from a touch. And you realize you don't need your knife. That just your hand pulls away this fungal growth.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you scrape your hand against the floor of this area, it pulls away the fungus, and you realize you don't need an object to do this. You just start clearing Osric.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like yeah. Then I go into like a kid at the sand at the beach,
Yes.
like
So as Stan awakes, which I assume I do from that
do.
yelling, does this stuff feel at all weird where it's on me?
So what's odd, Sten, is that you awake and immediately go upright, right? And into a sitting position out of sheer instinct, and there was no resistance, right? So you stand up and then you look and you realize, like, is this dust? And then the shroomy nature of it, it's fungal. And you look then to your legs and see why Vasila yelled. Because you can see how this thing has grown up on you. And as you pull, like, right, it just goes away and dusts away.
Yeah. So I'll start working like Vasila is, just trying to clean everything off. Have I run into anything like this?
No.
I mean, I've not spent time in caves, but okay.
You know it's fungal.
Sure.
But you've never seen this.
I will say, don't breathe any of the dust in if you can help it, for what it's worth.
Aldrich, you're awoken.
Yeah, I think Aldrich kind of wakes up, shakes, sees this layer of mushroom, and just kind of starts, what the hell? And kind of tries to sit up, but like.
And to be clear,
sweeping.
This is not binding you to the floor at all. It takes no resistance whatsoever to pull away, to stand, to sit, to brush it away.
I think it's mostly the pain of his ribs keeping him from jerking up. So he's kind of like, Oh,
Mhm.
oh God. What is going on in this mine?
Every goddamn thing. So when we get rid of this stuff, does it look like, I mean, does it start growing back anywhere as we like knock it loose?
Yeah, so two things. One, you guys got a full rest, so this did not disturb the benefits
Oh,
of the
good.
rest. So the three of you rest. Vasilla is sleepy. It dusts away, it crumbles away. It doesn't disappear. You can see the remnants of it. There's no indication of it coming back. Even if you wait 10 minutes, which is roughly how long Vasilla was gone before she came back, it does not grow back.
All right, get some rest, kid.
Question, real quick. If I suffer 1 point of damage to my wits I suffer 1 point of wits damage to my wits each day under the sleepy condition. It would break me, and I will collapse and sleep for at least 1/4 day. When does that damage occur?
So you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to take this first quarter day.
Okay, so I'm just imagining that like adrenaline spikes again, right? Like she gets back and her friends are like being murdered by.
Clear Osric.
I'm clearing Osric as fast as I can. I look around, everyone's like sat up, everyone's okay, everyone's like alive, and I sit down for a second, and even though like once the adrenaline like shakes like wear off after like a minute or two, like just sitting like where she is, just like head on chest, like done.
And Sten will try to very gently lay her down so she doesn't wake up stiff.
Quick hello to everybody from Coda Games that just rated us. I appreciate you coming over. We're playing Forbidden Lands by Free League, my personal favorite fantasy system. They just survived a huge maggot-like worm that broke into this dungeon that they've been into, and we're just now surviving. The only thing that's really weird is that during the rest, after they barely survived this big worm, they realized the people that were sleeping were covered in this white fungus.
It's fine.
The day in life.
Yeah.
So I pass out. Like
Yeah, so this
I'm
first
just
quarter day,
sheer
you're
out of
Yeah.
adrenaline and done.
Yeah. So I'll be happy to keep watch.
all right. Let's do a keep watch roll. That's a success. You got to roll the 6.
Mhm.
Osric in Aldrich, you have a quarter day.
All right, Sten, give me that bow. I'll see if I can make do with what the dwarves have laying around here.
If you can.
Yep.
Sten looks like he hasn't been thinking about the fact that his bow is gone, and just having to do that is just kind of like it's
little
starting to
defeated.
get to him now.
It's all
So-
right. We'll get it up and going again.
All right.
So how does bow rework then, Aldrich?
It should just be a crafting roll just for
Right.
repairs because I'm not actually crafting a whole new bow.
Yeah, and I think because it's at 0, if he fails the roll, it's permanently destroyed.
Correct.
Well, we're
No
gonna try
pressure.
not to fail it.
It's been a day of good rolls.
It's
so I'm
not going
sure
to be
this
any
will
worse
fine.
right now.
That's one.
So
Yep.
we learned during the narration of the action when the bow broke. We learned it broke at the tip, right where close to where it
Mhm.
connected at the top. With everything around you, with everything in your pack, how do you fix this? How do you make this usable again?
I'm imagining he kind of roots around through kind of these ruins, and through whatever means or the other is able to scrounge together like something to make like a simple resin, and then like basically melt that and fuse the bow back together, and then wrap it with a leather strap just to secure it together.
I'm totally imagining that there's like he's braced it with a tooth from this worm,
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
and some some of that
Actually, yeah.
gooey, mucusy
Yep.
grossness that
I think
came out
that's
of
it.
it is part of what's making this resin.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
I'm using worm fluids.
But
Bone.
I love the idea that we have a small trophy at the
Mhm.
top
Yeah.
of
Yep.
Sten's bow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Aldrich would absolutely add like a small like a bit of a tooth at the top to kind of match that.
And tooth is a strong word because this thing doesn't really have teeth,
Right.
but it's
Like
got
little
these.
grindy things.
Yes, exactly.
Grinders.
It's a cartilagic, bonish, just straight thing that it's bound to the top of the bow. I freaking
Perfect.
love that.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm
So you're
concerned
gonna
that you know what a lamprey's tooth is, Brian?
no.
I studied biology. It's fine.
So let's add one to the bow because we got one success.
Mhm.
Well, that should hold you for a while.
Thank you.
If we have some more time, I can try to add to it.
Well, let's
So
see where
Vasila's
the morning
sleeping.
takes us.
Aldrich's crafting.
I will put the sling back in her paraphernalia.
Oh, okay. I'll take care of that.
Craig, with my survival knowledge, and I know Sten has asked this question about this mold, or this fungus, but like has it stopped growing? Is it still like on the floor? Is it moving around where Vasila's laying down? I just want to.
Where you have not brushed it away, where you've not broken where it grew from the floor, there is still fungus there. There's no sign of expansion, and any kind of press or push or scrape turns it to dust.
And it's not growing over Vasila where she lay or anything like that, so I don't have
Nope.
to worry about that. I don't like it, Craig. I don't like it.
You have a quarter day to not like it. Is that what you want to do?
I think so. I just
Yeah,
wanna-
make it
gonna
I
try
don't
to
like it.
intimidate
roll.
it.
I'm gonna aggressively not like it.
Intimidate the mold.
But I do think that I'm gonna spend some amount of time, like just anywhere that it is. I'm gonna stomp
Yeah.
around it and sort of try to get rid of it as much as possible.
Try waving a torch at it.
Oh, that sounds like a great plan. Let's just
And the flame never has a chance to touch the fungus. The heat alone causes it to just pull and burn away.
I don't know. I feel like, given that I'm got my attributes from my rest, I feel like I am gonna try to feel threatening again. Such a boring thing to do for every quarter day that I have spare.
Intimidate the mold. One of these days you'll get it.
And then
Hey!
today is that day.
Today.
So what happens?
I think he's just been, grimacing and sort of internalizing a lot of his interactions with people as late, and his interactions with monsters and swords and demons and all these things together, and has come to realize that that he needs to be more aggressive in certain interactions with people, and so has determined that he needs to be more threatening to ensure our safety.
So is this a new skill?
This is a
Talent?
new talent.
And what's it do?
What it does, if I can find it again, is it allows me to use, I believe it's might, instead of manipulation.
Oh, that's huge.
Classic.
Fascinating.
So that he can sort of glower over people to get them to do things that he wants them to do, rather than trying to persuade them with empathy, which he is lacking.
I enjoy this for two different reasons. One, because I feel like in my head, Osric is embracing the hatred of all the bad things that have happened, and he's just like, he's like, I'm a friendly guy and I'm trying to help and for the good of the world. And now he's just like, fuck you, Jobu.
Oh yeah.
And second,
Imagine-
because it's Jim thinking like
Yes.
the
Nice.
as the player, like being glowering.
What's the name of the talent?
I believe it is threatening. Let me double
Threatening.
check.
I was looking at intimidate. That's why I couldn't find
I'm just imagining
Threatening,
after
got it.
Aldrich hands the bow back to Sten and kind of like turns around and Osric's over in a corner glaring. Huh!
it. All right, so you have threatening one. I put it on
Yeah,
your
right
uh,
there,
That's
bud.
it. That's it. Hold that look.
You don't look so good. You're looking
So
a little.
I don't think
angry.
everybody's spent a quarter day though.
Uh,
Who's left?
I think that's everybody.
yeah,
Is
that's everyone.
We've got a sleep.
Yeah.
We've
Sleep,
got a-
craft.
What did
a
Sven do?
repair.
Keep watch.
We've got a
and
keep
train,
watch.
yeah.
Keep watch. Yep.
Yep.
We did.
All right. And the 3 hours pass. Priscilla, you wake, rested.
Yay, not sleepy.
And we're here.
Well, now we have even more reason to try and rest before going anywhere, but do we think it's going to be worse to stay here?
I
I
don't feel
think
like
we
it's any
should stick to the
worse.
plan. No.
It's just not any better.
No.
Right.
Well, maybe if something hungry comes by, it'll eat the worm.
Speaking of the worm, and Vasile's little adventure in the maybe before we make an actual decision on this, I feel like we are leaning towards running out the clock on this
Some
wound.
injuries. Yeah.
But maybe we'll take a look to see where this worm came from, because it's if I understand right, like we had an option to our left and an option to our right, and now there
there's
is an
a
option
tunnel.
straight ahead that was not present before.
The worm option.
Yeah, and so as you pull away some of the rubble, Osric, to kind of figure out, it quickly is apparent that this thing did burrow through stone and soil to then break into this area. So, yes, you could dig and carve and mine and pull away, but its body is pretty
Snugly in there.
flush. Yeah. So it burrowed into here. It didn't follow a hidden passage.
Well, that's another thing to explore when we're feeling better. If we're feeling ambitious. About how big around is it, Craig?
This thing's a good 6.5 feet in girth.
Okay, so we could all make it through that tunnel if we cleared the thing out of
Yeah.
the way. Okay.
It's a big tunnel.
Big worm.
But
Big worm.
you the only measure you have is the head is smaller, right? The front of it is smaller and it gets wider and wider. Best you can tell, you've only seen a third of this thing emerge.
Jeez.
And a good 15 foot of it emerged. So if this thing is 45 foot long, you wouldn't be surprised.
Cool.
So let's go presumably when they came, because we came for the jewel. When they came to hide the jewel, they would have probably gone down the mine proper rather than into
Into
this
the
cavern.
caves. Probably. Hard to say, honestly, but
Sure. And
So
we
we're-
don't know if it's still where they hid it or if somebody else found it. And
Were
then
the
ran afoul of
dwarves
something else.
alive when the wife and daughter fled to Stoneloom?
I mean, there was evidence of dwarves who were killed within like a week by the
Yeah.
the
But that's like a
lizards.
new.
Right, that was a
part
recent.
before.
Oh,
thing
yeah.
we knew about.
I meant
the
like when they
dwarves.
in the history of the flight of the family.
Do we
of
believe
Aldrich.
that the dwarves were using or in the mine when when that happened.
Yeah, let me clarify a little bit. So the legends of the wife and the daughter, that's before the mist. Or right at the mist, right? So we're talking, 300 years ago. And the new dwarves that vanished are since the mist has been here, so it can't. That's weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah,
those
yeah,
those
right.
dwarves are definitely
Two
not
completely separate things.
Right.
But in
Agreed.
terms of like when the wife and daughter came to the mines,
Were there dwarves here?
do we know or do we believe that
This was an active mine.
it was an active mine when they came in,
Yes.
so there were dwarves operating the mine at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think we should go down into the actual operated mine.
So you want to start traveling again rather than try and rest up?
What's my timeline on your gut? And one more day.
I think that's where we landed. Is that effective?
Yeah, I mean
tomorrow,
this
my
is still
wound
the
no
most
longer-
defensible
So-
place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
tomorrow. You guys are in the second quarter day. So in the third, three more quarter days, Bleeding God is gone.
Yeah, I think
It's a lot of encounter rolls. But
I think.
Well, I think if we
you're
have
right.
someone on watch who can roll sixes, we'll probably be fine.
Yeah, good, strong start. Yeah,
Now
I
that
think we stay. I think we still have all the advantages here that we had before.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
gotta.
I think this is our best position.
What are the chances of a second giant one?
Shut up!
yeah, I think
This
this
is not easy.
No.
No.
And whose fault is that, Craig?
Eric Grandstrom.
Man,
Some Swedish
adventuring
guy.
sucks.
100% our own fault.
Is this
It's the
why they?
goddamn
Turned around and walked up
Swedes.
those
Is
stairs.
this why their country is so happy? Is because they export their shitty things like giant lamprey worms
Death metal.
and death metal.
gosh.
Anyway, I think the logic holds still, right?
All right. So what we haven't done today is done a water and a food. So let's just knock that out. So everybody do a water and a food roll.
Yep.
Are you still feeding me, Osric?
I am, as is evidenced by my first one.
All right. So nobody dropped a die. It looks like we did all right. Oh, we got more.
I keep
Oh,
going.
it looks like Vasilla dropped a water,
I dropped a food.
and you dropped a food. Okay.
But I think we're still doing all right.
Yeah, and I'm
That
fine
was
with.
mostly D10s and D12s.
And I don't need torch rolls. I think as long as we're stationary here, I'm
just
assuming we're
keep
keeping
cooking the
campfire
fire.
going. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that takes us to the third quarter, so around 6-ish.
Which means I need to pull up my trading log.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish up Sten's bow.
That'd be
Can
great.
you
Let's
do
just.
that?
Is there a
Yeah.
reason I couldn't?
Leave
think
the
so.
reading to Brian. He's fairly very good at it.
I am comfortable with you taking a quarter day to try to restore that one more.
I was thinking this time it'd be more of like a restringing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the string didn't come out too great either.
So this is the third quarter day. Each of you have an activity.
Okay. Well, if somebody's going to be on watch, I'm happy to do that.
All right. So we got crafting from Aldrich. Keep watch.
No, I don't know what to do with myself.
I'm gonna so the second level of a talent is 6
Six,
XP.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
3, 6,
I'm
9.
gonna use my last 6 XP and I'm gonna learn Path of the Hymn level 2.
Ooh, what's that
nice.
do?
Good question. I think I can, instead of just healing broken people with it, I can heal just missing.
You should be able to look
Yep,
at the
I'll look
talent
it
on
up.
your sheet. Yep.
Yep,
Mhm.
I'll look it up again.
Nice.
I just read this. You'd think I could remember. Rank 2. Number of comrades equal to the number of Wilp I spend. Within short range, each recover 1 point of damage to an attribute I choose.
That
Ooh,
seems real
That
good.
you choose?
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
You
huge.
decide which attribute they all recover. So they all have to be the same, and it is only one.
But
That's-
still, that's pretty good.
PhD. That's really good. That's really good. All right, so you spend the XP for that. So I've got craft and XP spend. Have we done the keep watch roll?
I will do that now.
Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And Osric.
What the hell am I gonna do now?
I'll do my crafting roll real quick. Now that
Totally
the
gonna
keep
spend
watch is out
6
of the
when I
way.
get threatening too.
Now that you've got it-
fucking.
He's just literally like sitting here with this bleeding gut wound, right, and just glowering and being angry
Mhm.
about it.
I mean, I would too.
Is it worth pushing for one more on the bow?
What's the damage to?
Strength.
And you haven't slept yet.
Yeah, you could sleep now if
You
you want.
need willpower.
Full on willpower. Okay, there we go.
Full
All right.
on willpower.
So the
he
bow is
says.
back up to 2. Osric, are you going to push to third?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bump to 2 in threatening.
And what's that do?
That allows me to get a +1 when I threaten someone with
Ooh.
might.
Massive frame.
You are super intimidating.
Exactly.
Once he figured it out, once he got the face down,
That's right. It's the mold.
Yeah.
The fungus got me sorted.
All right,
I
so
I really do think it's just like you used to just be like a lovable apple guy. Like you didn't really want to bring violence, and I feel like all this wielding of rustbite is slowly draining away like your humanity and all the death you've seen. Like
I don't think it's just rustbite. It's just, this is a
There's
shitty
life.
a
world.
lot of terrible. There's a lot of terrible things happening in
Lot
Rustbite
of
is amongst
terrible.
them.
so I've got us in the 4th quarter. Those that have not slept today need to.
I'm keeping watch because I slept today.
Okay.
Going to sleep.
Means I need this thing.
Oh, Facila's keeping watch because she slept this morning.
Oh, that's a bad choice. I have still 1 in wits because I couldn't recover wits until I was not sleepy.
Oh no. Well, no, I thought.
But you slept though.
But
for
you're
the
not
first
sleepy.
quarter.
Yeah, when you sleep, you
Yeah, you're
recover.
good now.
You should-
Yeah.
Okay, then I will cancel that and retry it now with my full wits.
Hey,
Look at you.
a natural.
Super watchy.
Turns out, without all the all the terrible everything,
Yes.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh gosh.
I've got Osric, Aldrich, and Sten. Everybody sleeping?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Right.
No.
All right, so let's. Can you remove bleeding gut by yourself? I think you can. You should have a delete option there.
Look at that. It's gone.
Like it never happened.
So Vasilla, as you do every time that Osric wakes up, you change his dressing and realize that some of the stitching has fallen out as it's healed up.
You're all good, and
I
I
can
will
imagine he's stretching and
Mhm.
working
Hey,
that
take
out,
it
feeling
easy.
a little better. But
Yeah, you're better. You're not not
And
great.
you do reek a little bit of that kind of antiseptic clover soapy smell of the smudge garbage that she's been spreading on you.
You can't smell it through the smell of the lamprey thing decay. Probably been burning herbs actually to try to keep off the
Oh,
smell
yeah.
of the decay.
Yep,
But-
making tea.
Mm-hmm.
So now
Well,
that we have a healed Osric, we have a brand new day. What are we doing?
I think we go. I think the ribs are less.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Just gotta move a little slow.
All right.
and we think we're not going into the
The caves.
airy caverns. We're going back
The
out
fresh
way
air
we
of the
came.
caverns.
As nice as it would be.
All right. On we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna...
I was thinking about something, and also Brian was looking at his notes. There was that song we heard somebody singing back a ways in that main cave. Wasn't there something in there about sharpening the axe?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So give
Maybe
me
we
a
just take that axe blade with us.
half of it crumbled, but the other half is intact.
In our couple days or a couple a day of hanging out here, we haven't
Mhm.
found anything else of interest in stuff. Cool.
No, there's going to be a couple things that I'm going to give you just in your time here in this barracks area. But just to refresh your memory, Sten, it was sister, brother, Howie Wax, mother, father, sharpen the axe.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Great.
That doesn't sound ominous. or
No,
child murder at
no,
all.
this is all fine.
So, let me just quickly. Where are we? We are there. So as you kind of root around all of this, you're gonna end up finding a gold piece and 4 coppers. So somebody add that
Ooh.
somewhere.
I'm rich, bitch.
Give it to Aldrich. He's our pack. He's our pack rat.
Oh, I'm
Right,
adding
back
it.
mule, yeah.
So
Yeah.
1 gold. How much copper?
4
I think
copper.
you said? Yeah.
Well, how about that?
What makes it all
Also-
worthwhile, don't it?
Also, when we start travel, I would take the scepter back from Vasilla,
Oh,
No.
okay.
wherever we've left it.
Nope. Are you
No?
sure?
Vasilla
have-
take the damage.
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean,
I'll
if you want to hold on to it, that's fine by me.
Yeah, you have, broken ribs. You
Issues.
Oh, I mean, I just have a neat new color of purple on my chest. Oh,
cool. So we'll light up a torch.
Okay, I can roll that. Plenty of torches.
plenty of torches.
And away we go. I'll retrieve my fishing line as
Yep.
well.
I mean, I can carry it.
The fishing line is just my favorite part.
Yes. We
Oh,
have an
from
alarm
the-
in case something
from the
tries to
alarm,
sneak
yeah.
up on us.
It's just I can take that back now.
The best
That
plan.
fishing line is it's too much. You have to hold it for me.
You
It's like the one fishing line.
you continue as the hook. You continue down, taking a left as you decline down, and then it levels, and the passageway stops as a ramp and goes, as best as you can tell, level. It travels that far for a good 100 yards, and then takes a sharp left to another identical looking staircase. No other options. Taking the torch that you have lit, shining it up the staircase, you, unlike the first staircase, which is like 15 feet up, you can't see the top of this staircase from the bottom where you are.
Back door.
Could be
Maybe.
if
I
we're
mean,
lucky.
The
Now they would-
tracks just end here,
They do.
essentially. No other carts around, no, I don't know, signs of digging. What a weird mine.
Freaking
well,
dwarves,
maybe
man.
explore up the steps at least
Yeah.
a little.
Otherwise, we're going all the way back.
So as you climb the steps, takes you up a good 40 feet. These are steep, long steps. Almost identical to what you met when you went up the other steps. You have this collapsed area to your left, which it's hard to tell. Either this was carved and collapsed or it was never finished. And then it continues to the right. But as you continue to the right, you don't see the barracks that you saw before. But you do again see where the obviously finished carved turns into this rough, cavernous area, just like before. There is no breeze.
And is this like in the same direction
It
as
is.
the other caves? Okay.
Does it have a worm size cut through in it?
Is there any worm sign?
Any
No
wormholes,
indication
if
that
you
the
will?
worm visited here at any point.
Oh God, did we just kill a god? The worm?
Do I have a Chris
Well,
knife now?
Keep on
alright,
keeping
well.
on.
I guess we might as
Yeah.
well at least have a look. We're at a dead end otherwise.
So we're going to go into the cavernous area.
Yeah.
Cautiously. Of course.
This is going to take an entire quarter day as the four of you go into this cavern, and it continues to branch and break. So initially branches off into two areas. You stick together and you explore the right-hand side, which keeps branching and breaking, and dead end. Cavern dug around, dead end. These are not natural. These are dug, but they're not carved. And after 3 hours, you find yourself back where you started in this exploration of this cavernous area.
And there's nothing here, just the caves and
No, and the big takeaway is this is not refined nor finished, but it is not naturally forming by some sort of underwater stream or erosion. This was dug.
This is
so
where
either they were
mined.
looking for ore, and
Yeah.
they didn't find enough to make it worth reinforcing or whatever, or maybe they did and they just got it all out.
Or they got wormed.
I'm gonna give you the scepter now because that's enough sceptering for me.
Had enough scepter for the day.
It's like you have broken ribs. You know what? Deal with it.
I mean, I can certainly take it for a shift if we need to.
No, we want you. I need A, your hands free, and B, your
Your agility.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it back.
I got it. So you have effectively run out of
Mhm.
areas.
Exploration, yeah.
So we've got 2 spots left. We got down the 30-foot drop. We have the crypts, which we didn't really explore. We were like,
I'm not
this is
anxious to
creepy
do
and
any more of that.
Or we have the other one that the worm came through and we didn't go explore that way, right? With
Right,
the fresh
there's the
air.
cavern,
With the airflow.
Yeah, that's true.
whether or not it connects to this cavern is the thing.
There
that we'll find out at some
also
point.
was across the bridge when we first came down and
Yeah.
turned left and fought the demon, the impish things. Across there, there was a hole,
Yeah, there was a passage.
but we would have to find a way across.
Well, I have the energy for it. I could get us across and back again.
Oh,
Boy, do I hate that plan.
So I think maybe we
Safely.
should go check across behind the worm. I think next.
okay.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
likely to
the
be
way
this,
back anyways.
but I have no desire to come back here again, and I'd rather double check.
Yep.
That space first.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Doubling
we're gonna
back.
go back up the tracks to the hallway / cavern that we left behind, where the breeze was that we have not explored yet.
So you get to the body of this worm. It takes some navigating to kind of get back into this barrack area. You have to get over the body, the corpse of this thing. And you get to the other side where you now, for the first time, are clearing out this, right? Because you've not cleared this out, and you pull away the rubble, and you get back to where it's still carved. It's still refined. And the breeze comes back, the fresh air comes back, which kind of balances and now pushes the smell of this corpse downwind. And having explored the previous cavernous area, this is very similar. But unlike before, we're kind of spread. This is a continuation.
Keep on down the dug, but not finished.
Yeah.
We get a quick torch roll from somebody.
Yep. I still have a full stock, so I'm happy to.
Yeah, so do I.
We switch out torches. Vasilla's in the lead. As you continue, Vasilla, the strength of this moving air turns into more of a breeze. No light, though. The only light is from the torch. It then opens. And where you're walking, at the level you're walking, turns into ledge. A ledge that covers the circumference of this open area. So if you were to go to your right, you could go along the ledge and come right back around, right, in a kind of a 20, 25-foot diameter. The bridge is coming from above. As you kind of hold the torch up, you can see that this extends above you. But the light only takes you so far. But it also extends below you. And the majority of the movement of air is not coming to where you came from. It's coming down. It's almost like you're picking up a residual.
Mm-hmm.
The walls are sheer, but still rough. But what's odd is it's ledged.
And we can't see the other side with the torch.
So you can see across from this thing. This is a dead end outside of up and down.
And the breeze is flowing from up to down.
From up to down. And the sound that fills your ears is the movement of air. And the slight whistles where it's the wind is maybe catching stones that are kind of close together in this roughly hewn shaft. And the clicking, which doesn't fit. The clicking doesn't match the wind moving. The clicking's weird. Let's go to credits.
Oh.
The clicking.
It's like,
so much I want to talk about. So, full disclosure, about 3 hours before we started playing, I was kind of wrapping up my day job, relaxing with my wife, watching a little bit of TV. And I was just like, I'm definitely looking forward to playing, but like 28 episodes, I think I might want to talk to the guys about, let's think about maybe taking a season break, coming up. And then I play with you assholes for 2 hours. And I'm like, I love this shit. Let's play tomorrow. It's amazing. It really is amazing what's happening right now. So
it's a healing experience for the GM, just not any of the characters.
Yeah, it's been
I
great.
had a healing experience today.
The second piece is the worm. So this was bad luck, right? So this is ultimately a random encounter, right? And in Forbidden Lands, what I love is a random encounter isn't just 4 goblins show up. Everything ties together, right? So this worm has significance. It's part of the ecosystem, and we may or may not find out if it matters or not. When I rolled that thing, I'm like, oh God, of all the things. Not only did they end up getting an encounter, but this is the encounter. And I opened up the stats for this thing, and I'm like, this could be the end.
We were thinking about it.
Yeah, so let me bring it up real quick for everybody, because
wow.
everybody got kind of a peek at it. But
I mean, 9 dice attack is pretty good.
it had a 14th strength.
Whoa. Oh man,
That's
I should have
excessive.
attacked its agility. Well, I didn't get a chance.
Yeah. Is that a thing you could do?
Yes. I got spells.
Magic.
And I don't know if this is the system or we're just lucky or whatever, but like, how awesome was that combat?
Oh my god.
Terrifying.
Yeah, like when
was fun.
Aldrich was broken
Meaty.
and then the bow breaks,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this shit's over.
It was pretty awful.
Yeah. And I just like, and then the knife to finish it off. Like, just how great is that? I just awesome. Absolutely awesome. This is what, 2.5 sessions now, doing some pretty trad dungeon diving.
Mhm.
Where are you, Dave?
I'm good. Interested, like, I'm getting you to where I want the climax of this dungeon to be, right? Like, I don't know if I want to do another like 3 sessions down, But on the flip side, like, one of the things about Forbidden Lands is just like random stuff turns into cool things,
Yeah.
which is awesome, right? And like that's a testament to the system, I think, in a way that I wouldn't have ascribed to a system and more ascribed to a table previously. But marriage of the two. But anyway, but it's been really fun. Like a random freaking giant worm that means something inside the ecosystem, but also it's cool. Still digging.
Yeah, and we have as a table, though I know where it all leads, but the 4 of you have the ability to go back and through and start, does this all connect yet? Right. And it's reasonable to say at this point maybe it doesn't, but I can tell you it will, which is really kind of cool about this. This isn't just a random dungeon. Stars and wishes for you, Dave? Stars first.
So I think it's it's got to be Sten, right? Like the
badass.
the standout thing. Like you shoot this thing up, your shots are terrible. Like you break your precious, last thing that you have. Yeah, this whole thing was gotta be Sten. And wishes, as far as wishes go, I think I'd like to see Aldrich get a little bit of love. It's been interesting how everyone's gets their like time.
I've got 10 willpower. I've got a moment coming up.
And I feel like he's got like
something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Something is going to get vaporized.
But the 4 of you being a little gun shy about that is reasonable.
What could
Live.
possibly go wrong,
Does everyone
Craig?
give Aldrich a nice wide berth?
Oh,
Yeah, but I have faith
oh.
in
I'm
I
gonna
have faith
fling
in the
it. I'm gonna
story and in
fling
the
us all
dungeon.
across
So
this
that'll be good.
tunnel. It's gonna be great.
All right, Nate. Let's talk about where you are. Then we'll do stars and wishes. Where are you?
I'm with Dave. Like, I think we're getting to a point where in a session or two more, hopefully we're seeing where we're getting to the end of this arc. But I mean, it's going well, and the tension is there, and it's a nice test of the pressure of
Yeah.
like we can't really gather resources very well. Like, we have to deal with what is here, and yeah, we're starting to get the edges of that pressure pushing down on us.
Stars.
Honestly, I gotta go similarly to Osric. Just like, buddy went down, Trident's out, whatever. Defender.
Sends out Trident's out.
Also, secondary star to, oh sweet, I can intimidate things now. It was the mushrooms that got him.
At a psychedelic trip where he just got angrier. It's funny.
Anything you want to add to wishes? Because you kind of talked to wishes a little bit, Nate. Is there anything you want to add to wishes in the next session or two?
I mean, we had every reason not to go into the crypt character-wise, but I want to go into the crypt player-wise.
No, you don't.
You just want to taste rotten root vegetables again.
Ugh.
Aldrich does not.
Brian, how you doing?
I had not quite as bad as your week, but I still had kind of a rough week. But this was sort of rejuvenating.
Good.
I liked doing sort of a dungeony thing in Forbidden Lands, which I hadn't done before. But I'm, like the others have said, I'm kind of ready to get to the point where the pieces come together and can find where you. I have no idea how huge this place is, but hopefully it's not that much bigger. But yeah, I mean, I'm
It's
having a
smaller
good
than the
time.
100-room dungeon.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Anybody counted how many rooms we've done yet?
98.
I'm out of fingers.
Stars.
Stars, honestly, I really loved the moment where Vasilla was just like the only one awake and losing her shit. I
Yeah.
visualize her as being like,
Very real.
a doctor, trying to get trained on the ER and doing their rotations and just having to keep 6 people from coding and, do everything and not having enough caffeine. And that was a fun moment.
Yeah, I definitely got that ER
Mhm.
vibe, right? Where
Mhm.
and Dave, like, it felt like just at the brink of where she was getting her confidence, this was testing that confidence. Like, I'm in charge of this and it's all going to shit. Oh, and the wall just broke in.
Yeah, exactly. By the way,
Yeah, it was good.
Any additional wishes, Brian?
I mean, wishes, just like I said, that we try and find something, we'll find what the hell's going on in here other than everything is terrible and this sucks.
This place is awful.
Yeah.
Osric.
The not at all ominous clicking is.
So, Jim, stars and wishes, where are you?
It's been a bunch of fun. I'm glad that I didn't die to a bleeding gut before before the time ran out, so that's exciting. I think for a star overall, I have been enjoying the mother hen / drill sergeant of Vasilla writ large, and I do think like that cascade of failure in that space was a really interesting moment. For wishes, I too, Jim too, wants to know more about this horrific magic in the crypt room.
What is with you two? You just like
Again,
this
I mean,
terrible thing.
Yeah, it's
terrible
so
All you
delightful.
really need to do
What could it be?
is put a button
the
on
button
the wall
to
that
push,
says
right?
"Do
Like-
not press."
Don't touch the stove. Don't
But I
touch
wanna-
the stove.
like,
But I wanna.
there's something there. It's very much like the last time we had crypt adventures,
Weird
right? It's
magic,
like, well,
yeah.
that button needs to be pushed, right? Like, obviously, Osric has no desire to stay in that room, none whatsoever, and certainly not to disturb like those graves in any way. That's just not really his jam. but like me, I like there's something there, right? There's a room there. There's something in it, and I want to know what it is,
Mhm.
and I'm not allowed to read the adventure. So
Yep.
the only way to find out is for us to
To
do
touch it.
something. So I want to know what's going on in that room. I will find a way to be okay with it if we, as a collective set of characters, have determined that we will not go back in that room. But
It's going to be a hard argument to get the four of you back in that room to do
right.
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I
Aldrich, absolutely. Like, that is the last resort. Like, if we don't find anything anywhere, it's like, I guess we're going back to the crypt.
right. Like it's the absolute last thing that that Osric would want to do, but there's something there, and that something is just compelling. These shafts of up down with no way to go up or down are something I want to understand better, because I feel
Well,
like there's
I
something
feel like
there.
someone can fly.
Briefly, yes.
Yeah, all of us can fly briefly.
Yeah. I can make it slightly less
It's the
brief for
landing
everybody.
that's the trick.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Oh shit.
So we
there a
kind of got a
bomb
sense,
worm?
Jim, from everybody kind of where they are as far as how much longer. We got, it sounds like a session or two is what everybody is. Are you at the same spot?
Uh, I feel like that's fine. Could I go a little longer? I think that would be okay too. I I I feel like the last time we talked about like threads and tying things together, and I'm a big fan of finding meaning under things. So
Yep.
so I think it would be good to get us to some threads of meaning.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. July 27th is episode 29. So mark your
Oh.
calendars, follow on
No, it
all
isn't.
the socials. We got a month.
Jim can't do July 27th. We know we have to push further. than
Oh,
that.
is that right? Is that what we decided? Oh, no. Then we
Yeah.
ended up moving it, right? To
Yeah, Jim has to be a work person.
I have to go to work.
Gross.
It's the worst.
Quit your job.
what did we did we discuss a new date?
The
We
6th
haven't.
was
We
No,
discussed
we
a
the-
new
looked at
date
the
for a
6th, and then we
different
looked at the
game.
27th, and then I couldn't do either of those because
All right.
Yeah,
work.
Jim has
But
a
we-
life.
So
No, I
All right,
don't. But I
so
have to
we
work.
may be taking a break after all.
yeah, it may end up
'Cause
pushing
Jim is
into
the
August,
worst.
which sucks because Jim has to pay bills. What the hell?
If
Yeah, what the
only
hell, Jim?
Osric had died to a bleeding gut.
In the meantime, if you want to get more Brian and more me, we are having a great time playing Court of Blades. So go check out the first episode of it. We had like, I don't know if there's as much anticipation among the audience as there was among the players. Like we knew this was going to be special, and after that first episode, it just it hit everything. Just it was an amazing first episode. We haven't even started an errand yet, and it was awesome. Cannot wait for episode 2. And then something that is hugely anticipated is a week from today, and that is the premiere of Brindlewood Bay by Jason Cordova here on the channel.
So excited.
Nice.
So a week from today at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you don't want to miss it. But I'm gonna miss you. Talk to you guys soon. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again, We'll see you next time. Take care.